will let you know that it was my colleagues that pointed out this in this video, and I've watched this movie several times. Never picked up I never even thought about it. I'm not going to use that. Never even thought about choice theory and about what we do at Ignorance Academy. Now, in the video, in that little clip, and I'm going to do my best to stay behind this. I talk with my hands, so you guys have to forgive me if I feel like I'm hypnotizing you. But the statement he made was he had no choice. He absolutely had a choice. He maybe didn't like the outcome of his choices, the consequences of him acting upon pulling that trigger, but he had a choice in that moment. And with the youth that we work with, they loved, I had no choice, I had to do it, I had to do it. No, you got a choice. You chose. You chose the behavior. Now you don't like the consequence because of your choice. I just had a conversation with a parent and had to help her with her lingo, with speaking, because it's a lot about language. You can say the same thing, but just in a different meaning. She would always tell her son, if you don't straighten up, we're going to kick you out, we're going to kick you out. He's adopted. So boom, abandonment issue. Boom, somebody else is getting away. And I had a conversation like, change your language. Let him know if you don't follow our rules, you're going to be choosing not to live in our home. She had that conversation with him, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay. So we always have a choice. May not like the outcome, but we always have a choice. Okay, the first one here, first axiom. The only person whose behavior we can't control is our own. And as a parent, I'm a parent, I want to control my child's behavior. It's an illusion. Control is an illusion. If you think, for instance, if I think I have any control of what you guys are going to do with this information, I'm just fooling myself. We have a lot of kids saying, you guys are brainwashing us. You brainwash. I'm like, really? Because if I'm brainwashing you, you go home, you get out of line, I'm going to have your parents say the code word, apple. And you're going to straighten up. So we only can control ourselves. And what Kelly was talking about, when our kids really grab hold of that, it's a beautiful thing, because it's about taking back your power. I like to clone it now with my kids. I'm like, are you Pinocchio or Geppetto? Which one are you? Because right now your peers are just, they know what it is. So it's important that we recognize that we only control ourselves. Second one, all we can give another person information. Right now, we're providing you information. That's all we can do. Now, you can take this information and say, Darrell, Kelly, and Annie, they don't know what they're talking about. We're not going to do anything with that. But we're giving you the information. How you apply it, what you do with it, that's up to you. And day to day, we're receiving all types of information through our interactions. Driving down here today, me and Kelly got information through her sign. Vehicle fire in the gorge. Great information to have. That was going to be a 2-hour stay, so we turned around and went the back way. Great information. We had a choice on what we did with the information. It was either keep going, 2-hour delay, or turn around, backtrack 20 miles, and add a half hour. Choice. All long-lasting psychological problems or relationship problems. Now, this one for me is interesting because the one thing about choice theory that I personally think is very important, that a lot of it is based off of keeping the relationship with those you interact with at the forefront. And I'll share an example for why this means so much to me. A young lady I worked with probably about 10 years ago. Came in, parents had the duct taper, came in white power all on her shoes, just full fatigue, white power, white power, white power. So, I'm working with this young lady now, knowing that, and all you cannot tell, I'm a black man. White power, knowing that I could have came at her and just, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you, but I made a different choice. First thing I did to the young lady, I said, introduced myself, said, how you doing? My name is Darrell. Can I give you a hug? She plotted on 3 different occasions to kill me. Like, I found the notes. I saw the notes, heard the notes. But now to this day, I spent my time giving her a different experience of what she had learned or read. And to this day, that was the point, she said, I'm gonna be your favorite student. And to this day, she's my favorite student. She's married, 2 kids. I talk to her at least once, twice a month. Because for me, that relationship, I wanted to give her a different experience. I chose that. Now, there's some people probably would have had a different choice, but I chose to make the relationship important. And that's what with choice theory, if we can understand the relationship is the most important thing. At the end of the day, we, and especially if, let's just use parents. If parents understand, I want to keep a healthy relationship with my child, you're going to, for me, I speak for me, I'm going to communicate with my children differently. Yes, I may reprimand, they're going to do things, but the relationship is always the most important, and that's going to be in the forefront of my mind. And that is a choice. I was raised in Mississippi. Wasn't always a choice. Different generation. Number 4, the problem, relationship is always a part of the present life. No matter what happened, I know Kelly was talking about triggers. No matter what happened in the past, yes, it influences, but if we can make it about what's going on now. Like Kelly was talking about those basic needs. What of my basic needs are not getting satisfied in this present moment? And not drag all of that past stuff into my present moment. I like to tell my kids, why are you judging yourself on the past? You no longer live there. Like, it has an influence on who I am today, but you have to look at it, say thank you, and move on. And a lot of kids, it's a lot of shame-based, a lot of guilt-based, and they choose to hold on to that, which of course we all know support depression, anxiety, and it's addiction. So, yeah. Bear with me. What happened in the past has everything to do with what we are today. But we can also only satisfy our basic needs right now and plan to continue satisfying them in the future. Kind of touched on that already. What's going on with me in this moment? Because I can do nothing. I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out that door. What happened before I walked in the door, it has a imprint, but how much of an imprint? I have to focus on what I'm doing here now. Like right now, I'm looking through the room. I'm telling you, I look calm and cool up here. I'm crazy nervous right now. But I'm choosing to present myself as a very calm and collected young man. So we have to focus on the present. And again, if you go back to the relationship, in any argument with my wife, oh my gracious, whew, that's a whole nother seminar. But she's a very A personality woman. Like, whew, she wants it, she's going to go after it. And we get in arguments sometimes, and I just have to look at it and say, you know what, you win. Because I choose not to continue down this path, because it's going to get somewhere early. I'm done. Where are we at? And we're continuing with it. We can only satisfy our needs by satisfying the picture of the quality world. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the quality world, but just to mention it now, the quality world is, like right now, my quality world is I want you all to feel like I'm competent about what I'm talking about. My quality world is that you guys are going to enjoy our presentation. So I'm trying to do my best to satisfy that quality world. Now, I can tell you that the quality world is based off of your value system, your morals. What do you hold important to you? Your quality world may not look like my quality world. It's individualized. And I believe this is nope, that's number 9. All we do is behave. I don't think I need to go into that because right now we all are behaving in some type of way right now. All behavior is total behavior that is made up of the four components: physiology, thinking, feeling, and action. All of those play a role. So Kelly was talking about the control of our physiology. If I have an experience where I will walk down a dark alley and I got attacked. If I'm in Vegas walking down the strip and I gotta go somewhere that's down a dark alley, my body is instantaneously going to have a reaction. That's going to trigger, do I really want to go down that alley? Is it that important? Anxiety, and then I get to choose. Am I going down that alley? Or you know what? I can live without it. All behavior is chosen, but we only have direct control over the acting and thinking components. Kelly explained that very well. We can only control our feeling and physiology indirectly through how we choose to act and think. Those of you that work with adolescents and even adults, the way you think about yourself is the way you're going to conduct yourself. If I think that I'm a piece of crap, if I think I'm not worthy, all those things, I'm not going to conduct myself in that manner. I'm not going to demand that you treat me in that way, because why would I ask you to treat me better than I treat myself? I don't think I'm worthy. And that's a lot of what we have to deal with, because a lot of kids are coming in with a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and it's getting them to understand that they have a choice in the way they view themselves. And it's tough. A lot of them are just feeling a lot of hopelessness and helplessness, and just getting them to view themselves in a more positive mind state, that could be 2-3 months of work alone. All behavior is y'all gonna laugh at me, but we've gone over this presentation like 5 times, and every time I get to this word, I always something, and I don't know why. All total behavior is designated by verbs and named by the part that is most recognized. Behavior is verbs, acting out, anger outbursts, addiction, using. Our behaviors are walking, whatever the verb is going to tell you what the behavior is. Okay, application of the 10 axioms. Now, external world, again, and you guys gotta help me because I always do it. The external world is providing us information. Again, all people just provide us with information that's coming from the external to my world. It's going to hit five senses. Help me now. Sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. I am educated, I promise you. But it's going to hit one of those. And then it's going to hit, let's say, I like to use my personal examples. It's going to hit that total knowledge filter. So let's say that one of you are talking to me about, let's say, ballet. You're talking to me about ballet. Now, it's going to hit my senses. I hear you, but when it gets to my total knowledge filter, I know nothing about ballet. 0. So when it hit my filter, that's where it's going to stop. It is not going any further because I have no knowledge of ballet. Now, let's say you want to sit down and talk about the NBA playoffs or my favorite March Madness. We can talk about that all day. It's going to hit my total knowledge filter, and then it's going to pass over to my value filter. And now, because I know something about what we're discussing, I'm going to place a value on it. Is it of any importance to me? March Madness is my favorite time of the year, so it is extremely important to me. Like, majorly important to me. Oh, you want some?
the value system that we work on. Once it hits that value system, what's really cool about this, we use. I have, of course, I forgot them, so sorry. But I have these little cards, and they're laminated, and they have pictures on them, and there's about 25, 30 of them, and they have values on them. And so you can go through and you can have your clients take those value cards and say, okay, I want you to pick out 10 values that you really connect to. Those matter to you in your life, whatever 10 they are. And from there, those discussions become really, they become pretty profound, because one of the things they can do is they can take values that maybe they're doing really well with. Maybe I'm, honest, I'm really honest, and that's a big value for me, but maybe I'm not doing very good with growing self, right? So how can my honesty help my growing self? And you start taking those and working with the values. One of the things you'll get, we've got handouts for you, but it has the list of a whole bunch of values, so you'll be able to take those with you. And I use the list too sometimes. I don't always use the card. But you can have them just pick out about 10 values. And what Darrell's talking about is once those hit the value filter, you're able to, the kids, well, and adults too, we're able to kind of, for that week, I just did this Tuesday with one of my clients. That was yesterday. Yeah. So, but one of the things that she's going to work on is crossing over a couple of the values that she was like, I really want this in my life, but I don't do it. And I can see how that disrupts my self-esteem and my confidence. And so now she was going to use, I believe it was hope, to help her with forgiveness. And kind of crossing those two over to bring some of that, because she isn't a very forgiving person. She kind of holds some grudges. So she was going to pull some things together that way and work on that value. And that's what Darrell's talking about. It's that value system that helps us kind of navigate when something's important to us, and those things that are important to us through the values, we can actually do a lot of work on in therapy.
Continuing, quality of world. Again, talking about the 5 basic needs. And you got to understand with teenagers, with any of us, what's important to you may not be important to me. I'm working with one kid. His most, I would think for this kid, adopted love and relationship would be best at the top of his list. No, fun and enjoyment. Okay. But quality world. The quality world and just in layman's terms, it's your picture. It's what you want. And if we can keep, again, the relationship, and you add that relationship in that quality world, how you want that relationship to be. I want a positive relationship with my colleague. So I'm going to make sure I'm respectful, and the relationship is key. How do you want the relationship in your quality world? And it's going to affect the thinking, the acting, all the behavior. The quality world for me is just, how do I want things to come out? The presumption skill. Presumption skill. I presume that things are going to work out for me. I tell my kids all the time, I refuse to have a bad day. I may have a bad moment, but I refuse to allow myself to have a bad day. And now we're talking about the external versus the internal control. The external, you're looking at the behavior theory of Watson, Skinner, Pavlov, and we all know that there's no way that you can control an environment 100% of the time. Absolutely no way. And just a quick note, I just did some research on the recidivism of prisoners, and within 3 years, 68% goes back to jail. Within 5 years, I think it's like 77, 78. But they operate in that environment to get out because the environment is so structured. And what we do at Eagle Ranch Academy, we want to get to why you do what you do, not just distinguish the behavior. Because if you just distinguish the behavior and don't get to the why, the behavior will come back.